It's been proved and verified that I had a keystroke virus placed on my personal computer and information was taken off of that.
And what had that virus enabled them to do?
Remove documents, Intel documents, correspondence off my computer.
What are Intel documents?
Intelligence debriefs for my handlers. It's the implications. It's not like it goes further than a celebrity, because I don't think anything brought out or hacked from a celebrity would be likely to result in them losing their life or a member of their family being harmed.
But the network of people believed to have had their computers hacked continues to grow.
Hello?
Hello, Tommy.
Yes?
Jane Dodge,
Oh.
Radio 4. Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for seeing us today.
You're more than welcome.
We found another potential victim who also has links with Northern Ireland and hasn't spoken to the British media before. Tommy, not his real name, guards his privacy closely. He's a former British agent who infiltrated the IRA in the 1990s. We've agreed to conceal his identity. He was also in email contact with Ian Hurst and believes as a result, confidential information about him and others may now be in the hands of the hackers. He's been in touch with the inquiry into computer hacking, Operation Tuletta.
Have officers in Operation Tuletta then said to you that they believe you may have been hacked?
What they've said is that they want to speak to me in relation to the hacking. They've been non-committal in a lot of things, but they've said, but unofficially I've been told yes. In addition to that, I've been told that my email addresses, at least 3 of them, have shown up on computers of people that were involved in hacking and have been hacked themselves.
If it turns out his own computer was hacked, Tommy's worried about what those responsible may have found. Although he's no longer working for the Ministry of Defence, he still had information about military personnel on his computer because of a legal dispute with his former employer.
There are military officers holding an intelligence capacity who were named and identified, their home addresses, their contact numbers. There was information that relates to military intelligence activity in the Irish Republic and elsewhere. They were named. So anybody having access to my computer would have had access to that. They would have had access to communications between myself and the Ministry of Defence, and it's potentially very serious. And what also causes me concern is my family's contact information was also on that computer.
Tommy and Ian Hurst both believe private investigators illegally obtained confidential details about them and others in 2006. It was a particularly tense time in Northern Irish politics. The then Secretary of State, Peter Hain, was hosting talks aimed at getting politicians to agree on the next stage of the peace process.
On 92 to 95 FM
And 1341 medium wave.
What is clear is that the police believe that attempts were made to break into Peter Hain's email accounts. Whether they were the private email accounts, whether attempts were made to break into the Northern Ireland office accounts, we don't yet know. That is a matter of investigation, and it's right to let the police do that. But what is absolutely clear is that at some point somebody was trying to do that, and this dimension would represent a new level of irresponsible behaviour, and I think, rightly, the police are taking it very seriously.
Sean Woodward doesn't believe those responsible for trying to hack his predecessor's computers wanted the information to get into the hands of terrorists, but he believes it could have been the end result.
It's the establishment of patterns that is the gold dust of terrorists, and that absolutely stands in the history of terrorism in relation to Northern Ireland and Irish-related terrorism. It's worrying to think, and certainly the security services should be very seriously concerned, that even seemingly low-grade information on a private email account could, if put into a pattern of information and in the hands of the wrong people for corroboration, be a very serious threat to national security and possibly the public's well-being.
All of the victims of computer hacking apparently commissioned by the press that this programme is aware of are connected to Northern Ireland. This may be because Operation Tuleta has only recently begun and is currently focusing on evidence gathered from Ian Hirst's computer. But the MP Tom Watson expects many more victims of computer hacking to be identified, and that could include other politicians.
I know of at least one other MP who is potentially a victim of computer hacking and other people who were in the public domain.
How do you know another MP is potentially a victim of computer hacking?
An insider involved in the investigation has told me that. I don't know the name of the MP, but I do know that they're taking it very seriously and following it up. Now, if Peter Hain was targeted and there's at least one other MP who's been investigated, then I think it's highly likely that there are other MPs who were targeted who don't yet know about it or know about it and are too frightened to come forward.
The threat posed by unscrupulous private investigators should come as no surprise to the police. This programme has seen a confidential report compiled in 2008 by SOCA, the Serious Organised Crime Agency, into what's described as the rogue element of the private investigation industry unlawfully trading in personal data. It states, certain private investigators are committing criminal offences in relation to the acquisition and misuse of unlawfully required personal data and are supported in their activities by key enablers. This allows them to make substantial profits. It sets out what is in effect a price list for various illicit activities. Hacking phones or telephone interceptions, as it's described in the report, costs £7,000 a month. And it's the same price for hacking into computers. In fact, there's a whole section in the report about computer hacking. It says, the increasing proliferation of databases containing confidential personal information has resulted in private investigators developing increasingly sophisticated methods to acquire this information electronically. It refers to something called an e-blaster Trojan attack, and it's that technique that Ian Hirst believes was used to hack into his computer 5 years ago. So, given the existence of the confidential report from 3 years ago, Tom Watson wants to know why it's taken so long for the authorities to investigate computer hacking by private investigators.
We know that the police and the Serious Organised Crime Agency have known about private investigators and illegal information gathering techniques for 3 or 4 years now, including computer hacking. And when you talk to them privately, they say, we haven't got the resources to do this. This is a hot potato that nobody is taking responsibility for, and it's the job of government and Parliament to make sure that this is investigated properly and somebody takes responsibility for it. The Metropolitan Police were professionally humiliated when civil litigants exposed them for failing to investigate the phone hacking scandal. It will happen again with computer hacking. They should act quickly before that does happen. Otherwise, they're going to have another 2 years of reputational harm.
SOCA says the Met is now taking the lead in investigating criminal links between private investigators and journalists and their links with the police. In turn, the Met says it's received a number of allegations regarding breach of privacy, including computer hacking. These are being investigated by Operation Tuleta, which currently has a team of 8 officers and staff. But the solicitor Mark Lewis is concerned that's not enough to cope with the scale of information involved.
What we know is with the phone hacking cases, they relate to 11,000 documents, and I think the police have indicated that there were 5,795 names that they're looking at. In comparison, the computer hacking information is much, much bigger than that. There is suggestion that there are 750,000 documents, albeit that they don't all relate to illegal activities or unlawful activities, that have to be sifted through. This is going to have to be pursued in a way that is going to put the magnitude of this operation, civil operation, as well as any possible criminal charges, over and above anything that's happening in phone hacking.
Back in 2008, SOCA was pointing out in its confidential report that one of the reasons criminal activity could continue was that private investigators were unregulated.
There are no benchmarks to denote fit and proper status and no means of excluding persons of dubious character or with criminal convictions from the profession.
The Serious Organised Crime Agency has told this programme a copy was sent to the Home Office back in 2008. The Security Industry Act in 2001 had established a statutory framework to allow the industry to be regulated, but it was never implemented. In a statement, the Home Office said it didn't comment on leaked documents. The hacking scandal has put the option of regulation back on the agenda, according to the MP Keith Vaz, who chairs the Home Affairs Select Committee, which will begin to look at the issue in the new year.
We've had evidence given to us which suggests that this clearly goes beyond News International. There are thousands of private investigators operating in the United Kingdom. We will certainly be looking at the area of computer hacking, but I think that we will look at the whole wide range of issues connected with what a private investigator does, the equipment that they purchase, who they report to, whether they're on the right side of the law, but more importantly, who regulates them.
Is it an option to maintain the status quo?
I don't think it is. From what we have seen, I don't think it is an option to leave things as they are. That is why it's important that the committee has a thorough and far-reaching investigation into this very important matter.
The Home Office has confirmed that it is considering regulating private investigators. However, it's likely to be a long wait for the outcome of the police investigation and for the full story of computer hacking to be told.